I have never seen such an awesome man. I saw him putting a 20-centimeter bicycle chain on a steel bar, fixing it with electric welding, cutting an iron plate in two pieces, and assembling and welding them together to form a guide rail in the middle. Only at the end did I understand what a master's part is. Then he knocked the flywheel of the bicycle and took it off. At this time, when you put it on the chain, you can see that because the flywheel has a self-locking function, when it rotates, it can only move in one direction, thus driving the chain below. Then put the flywheel on the iron plate. It doesn't matter if the author is nice because the guy needs to cut two circular iron plates and weld them to the flywheel. Pay attention to the operation details. It is very difficult for a craftsman. Every day he wakes up early and works hard to invent and innovate. If your mobile phone still has power at this time, please use your little hands to support and encourage rural craftsmen. Your support is the driving force for us to move forward. Thank you very much. Then pass a screw into the hole in the middle and weld it to fix it to achieve this effect. Then the guy used an iron plate to cut and punch holes to make two pieces and added two nuts to the pieces of paper. At this time, he could take the flywheel and blow it in the right direction. Then he assembled them and fixed them with screws on both sides. Remontricrete and then weld it to the cylinder block below, thus fixing the flywheel. Set it so that you can control the chain below, then draw marks on both ends of the screw and use a grinder to grind it to form a square shape. Because the square shape is convenient for installing and operating the handle, you need to use two cylinders next. Draw a picture, punch and cut to make the handle, and process the two cylinders. Then put it on the top and draw the mark, then cut off the excess. Then weld it with the processed assembly so that the operating handle is made. At this time, insert it on the shaft of the flywheel and test it. You can see that the operating handle can drive the chain below to slide in one direction, indicating that the test is successful. Next, weld a square under the square at one end of the chain to serve as a potentiometer to prevent it from sliding too far. Then put it back and turn it over and mark 4 centimeters on the iron plate below. At the same time, weld an iron plate at this position, then weld some cylinders at the front end of the iron plate, then weld a nut and a screw in the middle of the cylinder, and at the same time weld some steel bars at the front end of the screws, thus forming a fixture. The tools for using the artifact are now complete. It was then sprayed with a nice rust-proof paint and finally assembled to form a collector. When you want to tighten this kind of steel mesh, you only need to use the clamp on the collector to fix it, and then you can tighten and shrink the steel mesh through operation, which is convenient and good, greatly improving work efficiency. I have to admire the young man's superb craftsmanship and wonderful creativity. So if you give this collector a perfect score of 10, how would you rate it?